So we're just watching that video talking about the community in Wuthering Waves. Let's have a look at this thread here from Enoy, I think it is. Things I think should be added, fixed in upcoming Wuthering Waves updates. Again, somebody who's a big fan of the game, probably my favourite gacha game out at the moment. I definitely do think the game has things it could do better, things that could be improved, and they're moving towards a lot of the stuff that I have asked for in the game. But for me, a lot of it's end game, it's events. I'd like to see a little bit more in regards to those, and I might even be asking for too much, but that's just what I'd like to see in the game. We won't go over those exactly. We might talk about them as we look down this thread, but let's see what they've got to say, and let's discuss it, yeah? Okay? All right, let's have a look then. Right, please be reminded before going through this thread, if you do, that these criticisms are in hopes for the game to become better than it already is, and that I encourage people to reply to it with more open and honest criticisms. Okay, that's what we like to see. The things you love, you should criticize the things you love more than the things you dislike, because obviously you want the things you love or like to be better, don't ya? Okay, 1, Tower of Diversity revamped. I'm here for that. I think the Tower of Diversity is kind of mid. I'd like to see it expanded. I'd like to see more added to it. I would like to see maybe an actual tower system added to the game, where it can be like a roguelike system that just goes and goes and goes, potentially. Maybe having little areas that are like safe zones that you can be like, right, I've got to this level, I'm going to hop out and I can go back from that level on later on. Something like that would be kind of cool. Just something that's a little bit more as well, because of it being a physical presence in the game, I just don't think it's used enough, if I'm honest. But anyway, let's have a look. This one I have many issues with. Let's extend this out. I have many issues with, you can't check character builds in some of the towers without having to exit out of the game mode entirely. True, we mentioned this in a video that we reacted to not long ago, actually. That's a big point. And having to go through loading screen and the door opening animation over and over again, but the part, yes, definitely agree with that. Super annoying. They should definitely work on that. There isn't an option to change team layout without also having to completely exiting the game mode unless your team dies. Not so much of a big problem for me, but yeah, definitely. To summarise, I think they should add more shortcuts that make the overall process easier to begin, restart the challenges. I agree with this. I think the same with some of the events, actually, that they do when there's, like, tiered events. They do that a lot in some of them, where, like, you pull out and it kicks you back in, and then you have to go back in, and that's kind of annoying. I'd like to see them work on that sort of stuff in general with those sort of modes, if I'm honest. But definitely with the tower, because it's something that some people like to spend a lot of time in as well. Just for me, those sort of things don't bother me so much, but it's just because the mode in general, I think, is just kind of mid. Echo optimization. I have said this. I think the echo system in this game is an awesome system. It could be better. It definitely could be better, but I think it's one of the best gear systems in gacha, in my opinion. Just because it's a really cool way to do gear, isn't it? Basically having freaking Pokemon as your gear. I think it's dope. It'd be cool to see more variety in traversal echoes that are just as good as the Infernal Rider. Big W. Agree with these massively, actually. You know, it's a way to bring in, I guess, kind of like flying mounts as well, isn't it, really? If I'm honest, I'd like to see that as well, definitely. Also, a new forecast fusion echo that pandered to Changli's kit would be cool, like with Jinsei and Juhei, a Shorekeeper and Fallacy of No Return. True, yeah. 5-star premium character. It would be nice to get something that's a little bit more specifically designed for her. Although, I'm not too bothered about that, but I definitely think traversal with the echoes would be a really good thing, actually. I can't argue with that. I think that would be a really cool thing. I think the echoes, more echoes should be designed around that full stop, if I'm honest. Be a cool way to add in traversal as well and not lock it behind characters. New endgame. Yes, please. Oh my god. I have been saying this for ages. Endgame in this game is kind of lacking, like, massively. I said I won't get into it, but let's get into it. I want to see things like dungeon runs. I want to see potentially, possibly matchmaking raids. I want to see world bosses. I want to see raid bosses, you know, where you can go to, like they say, there's a pillar on the map. They pop up every now and again. Maybe at certain times as well. A little timer comes up to let you know there's a world boss about to start. It shows you where it is on the map. You go to it. You can matchmake him with a group of people and just fight a big hard boss. That would be awesome. And they're different all the time, and sometimes they have different buffs and debuffs and all that sort of stuff. That'd be really cool. I'd like to see dungeons. I've been saying this for ages. I think with Changli's companion quest, we kind of sort of got a dungeon light there. We're getting the puzzle elements. We're getting the the traversal and the parkour elements involved as well. We're so close to almost having dungeons. We got the Depths of Elusive Realm as well, which is kind of almost getting there, but not quite. And the Depths of Elusive Realm to me is the best mode in the game. So I just think dungeons would work so well in Wuthering Waves. You could have different difficulty levels as well. You could make it so people could choose mobs and have resets. This is the theme this week, and you can choose different mobs within a set amount of parameters and buffs and debuffs, and then there's a hologram type fight at the end, and then you unlock the next difficulty. You can run through up to the highest difficulty, and potentially as you go through the different difficulties, different areas open up within the dungeon, so you can go and open some chests and fight some mobs in there. I think that'd be kind of cool. We need more things to do, and sadly holograms aren't enough for me. Agree with this as well. They're fun, but they're definitely not enough. I did see some leaks saying there will be permanent events coming. Definitely we need permanent events, but sadly I heard those permanent events will not give asteroids, and I would like to have more in-game content that gives rewards. See, for me, I don't necessarily need that. I'm okay if a permanent event just has a reset, and on the reset you can get some asteroids for the first clear. Fine with that. Everything doesn't need to be about asteroids for me. I want events that are fun because the event's fun rather than the reward itself, you know? But yeah, good point. I definitely agree with it to a degree. Story changes. Yes, I know I've been positive about the story, but that doesn't mean that there aren't things I wouldn't like to see from it. For example, okay, let's have a look at this then. I need to know more about the world of Solaris through means other than the rover. Agree. Maybe by flashbacks or promos on their YT channel. I'd definitely be up for like little animated shorts and stuff. This is where I was saying, like I did earlier in the other video, when I was talking about I'd like more content that isn't surrounding the rover as the central part of the story. Everything doesn't like revolve around that. It'd be nice to see stories where different characters within the game are kind of like the centerpiece, not just for a companion quest, but for the patch, and we get to explore more about the world in that regards, and we see things through other people's eyes. I'd really like to see that. I'm a person who loves lore building and world building, so the world seems super interesting in Wuthering Waves, so I'm definitely down for that. I would like to see animations on the channel as well. That would be pretty dope, actually. A roadmap would also be cool, definitely, to see future characters coming in future regions. I'd also like to see the official name of said regions. I would like to see more character interactions with people other than the rover. Like, look at this interaction between Jinsei and Changli. We need more of this. Agree. And this is where, like I say, if we did have these patches that revolve more around individual characters in the roster rather than the rover, we'd have this going on, wouldn't we? We'd have these interpersonal relationships between the different characters within the game. Because at the end of the day, we're here for the waifus, aren't we? You know, the rover's story is like the main arc, but we're here for the characters that you pull, and I think it's more important and more interesting for me for those stories to be built up well and developed in that regards, because I just think it gives us more connection to the characters, and if you want people to pull on characters, I think that's an important part. I do. 5 skins. Yes, definitely skins. I've been saying this for ages. I think it's coming. I think it's safe to say it's coming. How they'll bring it in, we don't know. Will there be a gacha system? Will we just have premium skins you can buy? Will it be in the battle pass? I'm sure we'll have some free ones. We don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm sure we're going to get skins. We see it in PGR, and I'm hopeful that we're going to get some cool stuff. I've already seen some stuff as well. I won't go too much into it. Leak territory. About weapon skins and actually switching between them. Now, I don't know if it's applied across all weapons or what, but it seemed to be a set of skins that was on different weapons that you could switch between, but I ain't going to go too much into that, but that was interesting to see, so I think there might be something like that as well coming. It's kind of like Call of Duty, you know, when you can switch between your skins. I know there are skins coming in the future, but I'd like to see these specific ones: an Auto skin, a Tao-Chi skin, a Rover skin, a Danjin skin, and a Yang Yang skin. I'm here for the Danjin skin. Tao-Chi, yes, of course. She's got massive tits. We want to see more. Definitely Rover as well. I'd like to see Changli. I'd like to see a Jinsei skin. Dude, I would love to see Jinsei in, like, full-on armor. Kind of like Noelle from Genshin. That'd be fucking sick, that would. Yeah, skins all day long. Sell them to me. I'll take my money. You know, I'll give it you. A UI overhaul. Okay. The menu needs to change. We needed to admit that it can look way better than it does now. Okay, I think menus and UI can always look better. I think the best UIs are the ones you just don't notice. That's when you know a UI's been designed well, don't you? I don't think it's a bad system, but yeah, I think it potentially could be better. Definitely. I think it could be a little bit better. Co-op chat is also difficult to use, at least for me. When I try to quickly open chat, pressing enter twice, it closes out every time. Don't have this problem because I play solo, you know? If you're antisocial, you don't have to worry about that shit. But yeah, I suppose if anybody who knows if that is a problem, let me know. Miscellaneous ones. Okay, then. Things that don't have to be added for my enjoyment of the game. Underwater exploration. Give it me. I love it in Tower of Fantasy. I'd definitely be up for that. Whether that's a thing that'll get added at any point or it to be in specific areas, kind of like how I think Genshin do it, don't they, in that regard. Yeah, man, I'm here for that. Flying mechanics, definitely. I think we're almost there, really, aren't we? Echoes could bring in the flying mechanics, you know. The flying echoes could act kind of like mounts. That'd definitely be a cool thing. A sky island map. Now, this might actually be happening. Anybody who saw the images that were supposedly teasing the new area in the preheat events, if you looked at the images, it was all mountainous, looked European. In the background, in the sky, there was actually a island that was floating in the clouds. So potentially that's something that actually might be coming in the game. Obviously we don't know the validity to those images and what they actually represent, but just saying that was there. Okay, definitely more male characters. Yeah, I think we do. More skin diversity. Yeah, okay, yeah. It doesn't really bother me, but at the end of the day, if the waifu looks good, the waifu looks good. More red characters, more red characters, more red characters, more red characters. Okay, alright. I think we need more colour. I definitely think we need more colour. Or, I don't know if we need more red characters, but I won't say no. But I think we do need a little bit more colour. There's a lot of white, black, and gold in the game, isn't there? And I think we'll get more variety in the colour palettes when we go to different areas. I think it's because specifically the area that we're in at the minute, that's kind of the style. But yeah, definitely. That's one thing. Shorekeeper looks amazing in that regard because she definitely does look a little bit different. You know, Chang Li looks great as well. Danjin does for that reason. So yeah, definitely more colour. Okay, end of the thread. I know I had hella typos. I'm dyslexic. I don't worry about that. Please remember that you can still love something while also having your criticisms. War is my favourite game, but that doesn't mean it's immune to good changes. With devs who listen to their players, it's nice to know that these changes might come. Massive agreement there from me. I think if you like something, you should criticize it because it'll only get better. And I think we're lucky in the dev team that we've got with Wuthering Waves in Kuro. They do listen, they do react, they listen to the community, they're transparent, and that's a good thing. And you're more likely to get those changes. So you should be even more critical because they listen. This is one of the reasons why sometimes I don't get the Genshin community sometimes. Now, I'm not all Genshin players because I understand that a lot of Genshin players are critical, but I get comments sometimes on videos. It just seems that some Genshin players are happy to accept the ignorance of the dev team in regards to things that the community have been asking for years, and they're like, well, it's fine, we don't need that. We're still making more money. And it's just like, you're not making more money. Surely you want things to be better. And it's good to see that more people are being a bit critical. We've seen a lot more creators recently being a little bit more critical of the game. And it's good to see. I think there is a lot of creators, small creators, who are pandering a little bit at the minute because I think they're hoping to get on some sort of Wuthering Waves creator program or something. Be critical of the game. It doesn't mean you're hating on it. It means you like something and you want it to be better. And I think more and more people should be. And we get the things back, don't we? You know what I mean? Because Kuro, listen. So yeah, good thread actually. I agree with most of it, if I'm honest. Just give me skins, man. Give me skins, Kuro. I'm there, you know? Let me know what you think.